Sometimes I give my...
Hi, I'm Brandon. I love Hallmark Christmas movies.
I'm Brian. I like Hallmark Christmas movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Hallmark Christmas movies. And this is the
Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host this podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to say this. By the way, I hope everybody had a great Halloween. How was your Halloween, guys, by the way?
Spooky.
I'm happy it's done. It was fun trick-or-treating with the kids and everything, but I mean, 5 days of it. I'm
If
good.
anybody was wondering if Dan is grumpy about everything, the answer is
There's
yes.
your answer.
5 days? You're driving twin 7-year-olds with candy in straight to their veins for 5 straight days.
When you're a kid, I don't think you fully appreciate the beauty of the Kit Kat.
Thank you.
And how
I
this...
still don't.
No, how the whole candies deal...
This is Brian Harold's candy if I've ever, like, it is just,
is
it's
break
2
me
ingredients.
off
I mean,
a piece of that Kit Kat bar. It is a
greatest
candy
creation.
meant to be shared between friends. And that's exactly what we're doing right
We
here.
did, yeah, we all took a little
Brian,
break.
a Kit Kat bar. And
I had some, yeah, that's right.
Aaron did not
Aaron
partake.
did not make
oh,
the
look
cut.
at that.
Uh,
That was
and
so
you can
nice.
just
throw me a Twizzler.
Hey,
you can just break
it.
off a piece of that. They've been saying it for years and I knew it, but now I
Never-
know
never
it.
landed. Now you know it.
Now I know it
Now
in my
you've lived
heart.
It. Yeah.
Because sometimes I just want half a candy.
There you go.
Just chocolate
Rarely.
wafer. That's it. It's
Yeah.
the,
perfect.
the Brian Harold of chocolate candy.
Chocolate and
It
wafer.
is just a pair of
Wafer.
khaki pants.
Are there
Just-
any-
just
are
the-
there-
wafer chocolate. Wafer.
That's it.
That's it.
Are there any chocolate candies that you just won't touch? Aside, obviously, you won't
I
touch
can't
some
do,
with
yeah, I
some
can't do
nuts.
the peanut butter stuff.
I'm not crazy for any of them that aren't a Reese's. I mean, that's the
Wow.
only one I care about. I mean, Twix is fine, I guess, but
I don't like Twix.
Really?
All right.
Caramel thing?
Came in
Yeah, I don't
wrong
like
there.
caramel. I don't like caramel. I don't like almond joys. One, the name's just misleading. Like
don't
no
like
joys
coconut and
had.
chocolate?
No, I don't.
That's
like
Mounds. Almond Joy.
I don't
is-
like
Almond
Mounds
Joy and
either.
Mounds are the same.
No, they're not.
No, they're
Mounds
not.
is just
You can have
coconuts.
one.
Almond Joy is
Has the
nuts.
has the
You can't-
almond.
Yeah.
I eat those. I just don't eat the almond part.
You
What?
eat around the almond?
Yeah. I give my wife
And
the
we've
almond.
been tiptoeing
What?
around here.
Guys, I
with
don't know if
your
you heard.
nut allergy.
I was cured during the marathon.
No,
of,
I understand that.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that for years
Yeah.
we've been acting like nuts, like we're a nut-free office?
You don't act
We're
like
not.
that. You're not even
And then,
close.
I can't even go with that bit.
It's
That's
gotten
right.
worse,
and
actually.
then you've been chomping into
Yeah.
almond joys,
You know what else I
eating
do?
or nibbling around like a rat.
I eat the Hershey Kisses with the nuts in them, and I just
Oh,
don't
now
eat the
you're
nut.
a monster. You're
It's-
a psychopath.
it's-
You take a Hershey Kiss with an almond
If
in the
that's
middle.
all that's around.
Eat it and suck on it, and then just
No.
get the almond out
I
of
don't
there.
put the nut in my mouth. I eat around it. I eat the chocolate part. I go, okay.
How do you eat the
we've
chocolate
done
without
enough.
putting the nut in your mouth?
I'll show you. It's pretty simple. And if you're looking to cut back on eating too much chocolate, it's a good way to go because I can only eat so much.
Without putting the nut in your
That's
mouth.
right. I have to stop and hold myself back a little bit. But
That's over half of that
That's insane.
candy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's so much. Like you're doing.
That's a whole chunk of that
if
candy.
that's all
you're
that's around,
I don't really know how it all worked out, but you started COVID. I don't know how,
Yeah, you did.
but that, like doing
Sucking
this and
around
just
nuts?
handing out,
No,
Unbelievable.
it's not
take my nut, take my nut. Like you were passing out nuts that you
No,
like
I'm
eating
not
all
handing
around.
them to people.
You just said you handed it to your
Yeah,
wife.
she sometimes, and other times I just throw it away because that's where peanuts belong in the trash.
Man, you're trash.
All nuts.
You
Do
belong
you
in
ever
the
get the
trash.
feeling that Brian doesn't have a nut allergy? He just doesn't personally like them, and so he's making
Yeah.
everyone acquiesce
That-
in his way of
Against
doing things.
anti-nut.
That
I'm gonna
is
start
what.
putting nuts just like in
Everywhere.
his food to see what happens.
I'll eat around it.
He won't know it.
We'll have a problem.
Can
I
you
think.
bring in? Do you have EpiPens? Like
No.
right-
No, I don't.
I'm going to bring in an EpiPen, and they're going
and
to.
then we'll have some real fun.
Like I'm just saying, like it would be pretty fun, like to just kind of see what happens.
See what happens,
Like
yeah.
put it to the test. You say you're cured.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not
After
buying
the
it.
marathon, I think I might be.
Yeah. Only one way to
think
find
so.
out.
Yeah, there is. So we're just gonna have to do it. You have to nut up.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit
I'm
of
not
nut.
just dumping a whole thing of peanut butter.
No,
Not at
just like
first.
a.
We'll get there.
Just eat one instead of eating around the nut. Eat the nut.
Eat the nut.
Yeah, put the nut in there.
Yeah.
Put the nut in
The
there.
problem is at this point, I'm not even interested. Like I don't know. I have no. I wish I were curious, but I've gone so long with just not trying that. Maybe we'll see. We'll see where the
You're
season
not a
takes
little
us.
bit curious?
You're not a little bit curious?
I wish I
You
wanted
have any desire at all?
because of the protein and nuts. It's like
Yeah.
a very healthy snack. I wish, but no, I don't have any
People talk
desire.
about peanut butter all the time. You're not even a little bit like, man, I bet that is good. Like
No.
we have
I know,
so much
I know.
Reese's.
And things you talk about how great the snacks are. I don't think about it at all.
One of my two kids has a friend in class that's allergic to peanuts, and so they can't have them anywhere. The school can't have them, blah, blah, blah.
These kids
But
are the worst.
Yeah, no kidding.
No
but
kidding, man.
my kid has taken upon himself to believe that he now is allergic to peanuts. So he'll come home, and his brother will get a snack, and he'll be like, get it away from me. I can't have peanuts. And I'm like,
great.
bro, you can't. He's like, no, I can't. I'm allergic.
That's great.
And I'm like, no, not true at all.
I'm
So-
gonna be
Can you imagine, like Brian, what Brian just explained is the equivalent of him taking a Reese's out, just licking it. Licking the outside chocolate edge.
a little,
That's
little
just a
harsh
little
kiss.
bit.
That's peanut butter. Like that's too far.
That is
too
what
far.
you're doing.
That's
That's
what
monstrous.
you're insane.
If there's candy with nuts in it, you can't eat around
You can't
the
eat
nut
around
and
the
hand
nut.
it to somebody. You can't do that. That is like you're
All
yeah,
right.
you're a monster.
You're
All
insane. You're
Unless
insane.
I know you really well, I just throw it away. So don't worry about me handing my nuts to you.
You can't do that. You can't do that. It's talking about Christmas by Design. It originally aired
You're still
on
with us.
the 27th of October, and it went a little something like this. Hey,
Did that
Charlotte.
button push back there?
No, I did. I'm pushing back against the system. I'm like Brian and Nuts.
That's right. Do your own
Charlotte is an up-and-coming fashion designer waiting for her big break, and that big break might be happening right now. She finds
After
out
the break.
She finds out that she's been selected to participate in a design competition for the Warlock department store.
thing. It's not
The
Warlock.
Warlocks called up.
Warlock
No, they
department
didn't.
store.
The
That's not what
Warlocks.
happened.
The Warlocks says nothing fits us anymore.
They say nothing.
We're Warlocks. Warwick.
There we
Warwick.
are.
There it is.
The Warlocks
Everybody
are a big deal.
Yeah.
And the
You don't
problem
design for them anyway.
you don't. They'll say they won't kill you. They will. The problem is the assignment is all about Christmas.
Warlocks probably also eat around the nuts.
I bet you they
That's
do.
why I shop exclusively.
Shop
Warlocks.
at Warlocks where you can have your chocolate. And
Not the
and
nuts.
we'll the problem is the assignment is all about Christmas, and she doesn't really care about Christmas anymore. She doesn't even remember the last time she was home for the holiday. So she heads back home for Christmas and inspiration is what I mean, and immediately rear ends a beautiful red pickup truck. Luckily for her, the driver is a mechanic. His name is Spencer. They could not be any more different. She's all about the big city. He's all is not interested in that. He loves the small town's annual 12 Days of Elfcapades event. She could not be less excited about this event, even though her dad started it. She goes to the first event and is shocked to find out that every woman in town is throwing themselves at Spencer. And I gotta be honest, I am too. And by I am too, I mean I'm surprised. I'm not throwing myself at Spencer, although. And things get worse when she sees her ex-boyfriend, Evan, who also is the mayor. They decide to be each other's dates-ish for the rest of the events. He'll help avoid her ex, and she'll be his buffer from all of the women in town. Naturally, this leads to them, hanging out, talking about life and stuff, including how he was married and lost his wife to cancer, and how her ex-boyfriend broke up with her 2 months after her dad died. Super fun. After she comes up with her first design, it is clearly two big cities. Look at all those sparkles. We don't do that here. So he helps her think of small town Christmas inspiration by playing a game of Pictionary. That'll do it. It works. She designs 5 different outfits, and she decides she's going to run with the pajamas.
And boy, are they pajamas.
Hey, bad news, everybody. The Elfcapades are coming to a close. Funding's being pulled.
Oh, no.
By her ex-boyfriend.
What a guy.
An absolute monster. They're at one of the Elfcapade events, which is, and there's a game where you have to be the first one to find someone to kiss you under the mistletoe. So he comes up, they kiss, and they love it. They're spending more time together, having romantic evenings together. He decides to go for it and brings her flowers. He's walking up the stairs, flowers in hand. She's on the phone with her best friend talking about how, she met this guy Spencer, but it's never going to work. She lives in New York. He hears this, mopes his way back downstairs. And then she continues, but maybe it would work. Maybe all of this is meant to be. Maybe New York's not for me anymore. But he didn't hear any of that. He's gonzo. And so he kind of goes MIA, take it to the house.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Away. Take it to the house.
So she goes to find him.
I've said that so many times on this program, and no one has ever once been like, cool reference. Not once. And that has never stopped me.
Hey, Brady, cool reference.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very
so
nicely done.
she goes to find Spencer, who's MIA.
Take it to the house.
And he freaks out on her. He's like, get out of here, and accidentally ruins the pajamas.
Pajamas.
The pajamas.
Pajamas.
The pajamas are ruined. What am I to do?
You're bordering.
Yeah,
I know what I
Take a step
know.
back there, Rudy.
I know where I am. Then she gets in an argument with her family. It's a tough night for old Charlotte, but she makes up with her family and they all work together to remake the pajamas. She shows up for the contest, but apparently the start of it is going to be later than originally planned. So she says, I'm out of here. I've got an elf event. So she leaves before she can win. Then she finds Spencer, tells him that she loves him, and he's like, "Oh, me too, totes." She gets a call from the department, from the guys, from the Warlocks, and the Warlocks are like, "We love this." You're exactly the type of person that we want on our team. Somebody that would push back against big business for the sake of elf-related activities. Plus, your pajamas are fire. So they're like, you get to work with us. And she's like, on one condition, I get to stay right here in my hometown. And they say, not a problem at all. It's all coming up aces for her. They kiss some more. The family celebrates. I think the elf capades are saved.
I don't know.
And that, my friends, was Christmas by Design.
We did it.
We did do it.
Cool boy. Somehow.
That is
Made it
nice.
through.
I don't know if they were saved at all.
Yeah.
We
I
never
don't
really-
think it mattered.
No.
I don't think they were at risk to begin with, but I think we'll get to that
Sure, I
later.
think we will.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we
love
will break this movie down with 4 segments here on
Deck
Deck
the
the Hallmark.
Nailed it, guys. Really nicely done.
So you just slurp all around the
Just
all
a
around the
bite.
nut.
Yeah.
A bite.
All right, there's
And
no
that's
way
kinda
you
it.
can make a Hershey kiss two
have
bites.
you ever licked chocolate off of the shell of a nut?
No.
Be honest.
No.
Be honest. One time you
Nope.
never licked that nut?
No, absolutely not. I'll bite the chocolate, and if I got some nut on it, some shell, I just discard
But
immediately.
with a Hershey kiss with an almond in the middle.
You
How
bite
do
the
you
top.
take-
Those are small.
What do you mean the
the
top?
top of it, like
Just
the
the tip?
swirl. You bite that, and then usually on the side. Usually the nut's not like perfectly centered.
For the amount of
But
time
how do you know?
you got to mess around and find out a little bit.
You gotta mess around.
for all the time that you're spending doing that and discarding, you just go buy normal Hershey kisses.
You could, but if they're right
How
there,
hard up are you for chocolate?
like around the holidays.
I need him. I need it now.
When you
Give
got
me
a
the
whole
almonds.
like a whole package
need a
of
ball.
Hershey's with almonds, like what am I gonna do? They're just sitting right there. I'm gonna like put them to work
Give me the nip of a kiss.
quick.
The nip of a kiss. I gotta have it. I gotta have it.
Insane.
Can't not.
It's time for the hot take. It is where we share exactly how we felt about
It's a
this
last
movie.
ditch effort,
We
too.
do.
It's like,
It
it's
doesn't
like-
sound like it, Brian.
It's not my preferred method.
It
Let's.
sounds like you do this on the regular.
It does
You
sound.
found a way to take two bites of a Hershey
It's
kiss
been a while.
with an almond in the
It's
middle
not so-
without licking the nut.
I think you
It's
like it.
been
I think
a
you
while.
like the risk.
Unbelievable.
It's been a while.
I think you
No,
like the
it's
risk.
It might be the risk that I'm in it for.
You
it might
like
be the
it.
rush.
You like the
There's a
high.
little rush.
Unbelievable.
There is a rush associated with it.
What do you think about
I
this?
know I'm not supposed to be doing it.
We're doing this. On next time we record an episode, I'm bringing one of those in.
Okay, I'll show you how it's done.
Show us
Okay,
how
please
we'll
do
put
on
the-
camera.
Sure.
Philo.tv/DTH. You're gonna get Brian to eat all of it but the nut.
That's exactly right. Can I just real quick, while we're talking about candy and Halloween? And all that
Yeah,
good stuff,
please.
How beautiful is it right now in that Greenville?
Oh,
We're
my
spoiled.
goodness.
Weather. has
The
come
weekend,
around.
the weekend was a little brash,
Yeah, a little bit.
but that happens from time to time. We could have gotten the opposite. Old Scotty from Christmas Morning. By the way, Christmas Morning goes daily starting today, November 1st.
Right now.
Congratulations. Scotty got 6.5 inches of snow over the
Crazy.
weekend. So
Crazy.
Nice.
you know, it's wild out there.
But it's nice and crisp.
I love that here in Greenville.
Fall's
Yeah,
finally
that
here.
Greenville. This is Greenville.
This is
This is living. This is living.
This is living.
Yeah.
Brian, what do you think about this movie?
I believe it was Donatella Versace who said,
good God.
"In times of tragedy,
Oh.
you look for the helper."
Hey, who's the helper in this movie? I was actually wondering.
Helper of the week.
I think the brother-in-law was the helper here in this scenario. I mean, he was
What's
just,
his name?
I forget his name. I don't know if we even know his name.
I don't even know the helper of the
Don't even
week's
know the helper of
name.
the week's
He was
name.
telling it
Lame.
like it was. He was saying what everybody was thinking, and he deserves helper of the week for that. I don't know if he had a name in this movie.
I like that you looked up a Donatello Versace quote, though. Can you say it without laughing?
Very times of tragedy. Look for the helpers.
Look for the helpers.
Beautiful.
Circa 2019.
That's Donatello the Ninja Turtle, I believe.
right, purple one.
Yes.
Raphael would never.
No, he wouldn't. He's too busy leading.
This was just okay for me. I didn't like any of the people in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like any of them, and I was trying. And I knew that the main Charlie, if I'm allowed to call her that, would come around. Like, she starts off pretty brutal and then comes around, and then she gets brutal again for me.
Yeah.
Where the end is just infuriating to me as somebody who, like, if you're gonna work hard at something and put yourself in a position where, like, you have been trying to get there and then you just leave, you walk out the door, like, it's annoying. It's annoying to me. And you left the Christmas Eve fashion show hanging.
Yeah.
Like, now they're out of another
That's right.
presenter person.
You said
So-
yes the whole way,
Yes.
and then you're like, deuces.
and you just walk right out the door. So it just annoyed me on a lot of levels. And so I just, like, Spencer, I feel like he was annoying in a different way, where, like, he said his wife died, but I feel like she just got sick of him pretending he was a mechanic. Like, I didn't believe him at all. And I got tired of it too. I'm like, dude, just put some grease on the over. Like, maybe
my
like they were
gosh.
trying to return the coveralls at the end of the movie. Like, they
my
didn't want to ruin
God,
them.
it's brutal.
Like, we were joking, Brandon, about getting coveralls for us, and we're like, ours would be dirtier just from eating chips.
That's right. Yeah. Just the Cheeto dust alone.
It
on
takes
those
a
things.
lot of work to be that clean.
So crisp and clean.
Yeah.
It was annoying. And so I actually enjoyed the pajama design, like where she was coming up with the ideas and like, oh, maybe we're getting somewhere. And then they stopped and like that was it. So I was like, I couldn't get into any parts of this. So it left me kind of like wanting more from this.
Yeah, just an okay for me overall. I didn't actively dislike it, but I wasn't rooting for anybody, to Brian's point. The fact that they, with like a straight face, want us to believe that this guy is like a chick magnet is like wild.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like-
a swell fellow, but like when you're used to seeing like Pavey out there, Hides, like these
Yes.
classic
Yeah.
Hallmark hunks, there's this guy, and this guy's swell. I've never
Yes.
seen him before, and honestly, I couldn't pick
You
him out
have.
of a lineup.
You've seen him in several movies.
Great.
Yeah.
Couldn't pick him out
One
of a
your
lineup.
faves, Fit for a Prince, Natalie
Oh,
Hall.
I do love
He's
that
the
one.
Prince,
I do
yeah.
love that one.
You know who else loves him is Elizabeth Cullen.
Okay.
She's a big
Was that
Jonathan
right?
Coates
Okay, so
fan.
I mean,
Yeah.
listen to everybody. I'm sure he is swell, but like to act like, is he the only single guy in town,
Dude, it's-
or is it just his wife died and suddenly that's the thing? Like that was such a weird thing to include in this movie. Yeah. It was very confusing to me. But yeah, I thought it was fine. I mean, I liked the two of them together. Like when they were doing like activities, it was fine. I was fine with that. A couple of nice scenes talking about death. But yeah, overall, just an okay. I'm nervous that this is going to be the Friday night norm for the Hallmark Channel movies. Like last week's Friday was checking in for Christmas or whatever that hockey movie was. That
Check it.
this
Check
is
it
this
twice. I think
Friday's
well,
movie.
I'll get
So
there.
I'm just nervous that the Friday movies are just going to be like, nah, blah.
Man.
But you know, we'll see. We'll see. Dano.
Brian, would you take the hockey movie over this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
all
too.
weekend. I'd watch this all weekend long. I mean, the other one, they'll check in.
I really, really hated this movie. And I'm starting to get concerned because last year by this point, we had Ghosts of Christmas Always, and we had 2 or 3 others that you were like, better than I expected. This year, we got the Rady joint, and we got not much else so far. And I'm starting to get concerned that the actor strike, the writer strike, has caused us to go deep into the bullpen here because this is a terrible movie.
Rady's a mechanic, and no one cares about him.
That's right. Yes, that's exactly
you're right.
That's exactly right. And Rady also doesn't look like a mechanic, but he does more than this guy. There are 3 or 4 just catastrophically big wait what's in this movie, one of which is the fact that every woman can't help but just verbally say out loud that she has an undying crush on Jonathan Keltz. Jonathan Keltz is a good looking dude, but it's weird that every woman has to pop in to say that about this guy on a regular basis. That's something we've never seen in one of these movies. And to your point, Tyler Hines has been in a small town. Ryan Baby's been in a small town. Chris Ball's been in a small town. Never been a bit we've done. So that's weird. A lot of this movie is a wait what. The stakes couldn't be lower. Christmas Eve fashion show, elf capades. That's what we're dealing with here. Yeah. None of it works. None of it's brought home. There's a lot of Christmas, but it just kind of threw up all over the place. One of the worst of the year. Not great.
It's time for All the Feels, where we talk about what in this movie gave us all those feels. You guessed it. Brian, what you feeling?
Speaking of Elizabeth Cullen, I had to reach out to her during this movie because the blue car was my feels. That car was beautiful, and so I
best scene of the movie.
Yes, 100%.
Best scene of the movie.
And so I texted Elizabeth because her husband Martin, big car guy.
Big car guy.
Did you guys watch the movie? What car is that? And she said it's so funny. Martin can't figure it out. It's like he thinks
he's an import guy. That car is not an import. That car is made.
It's a deport.
It's a deport.
It's
exactly.
not a deport.
Exactly.
Domestic.
He said he thought it's either an AMC Rambler or a Ford Falcon.
I was thinking those
and
exact
looking
same
at pictures,
cars.
it looks like it is supposed to resemble a Falcon. But it's like they couldn't use an actual Falcon.
Couldn't use the real one.
So it was almost a deport situation.
It was deported.
And so that was my big thing. I'm like, look at that beautiful car. Love that thing. I wish they were. I thought that the big surprise reveal was going to be him. Like when he brings her to the tow truck, I thought I was really disappointed because I'm like, he's going to take out the blue car, and he has a tow truck. So we didn't even get to see that car drive. So
and then that scene, like it's such a good scene, and then it's
they're
like
in the
just
car.
Go ahead and make out. Like that's the moment, and then it doesn't happen, and then we never see the car again, and it's crazy.
Man, so that was my feels.
Yeah, best scene in the movie. I don't even think it's really all that close. So yeah, that's it, Dan.
I tend to not mention the child actors when they're bad, and if there's one that's exceptionally good or interesting, I do mention them. This kid is a riot in this movie.
Good or interesting.
What?
You mention them if they're good or interesting.
That's right.
Interesting.
Or they do something that's not just standard kid acting behavior.
It's time for good or interesting.
This kid was both.
Hey, wow. You don't see that very often.
He is here to not just read lines, but to do big, like demonstrative motions with all of his lines in this movie. He commits to the bit. Yeah. He does karate stuff. He's all over the place. And he was fun. He was more fun than this movie was.
He was funny at the table when they... that was funny.
Yeah, good stuff from him.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
Good and interesting.
Everyone else in this movie is kind of awful. So he's great.
Let's take one more quick break. We'll come back with the Wait, What, and the What the Hallmark. Anna Vic Webster is, I think, going to pop in and let us know if there's any fighting chances. Here on Deck the Hallmark.
Deck the Hallmark.
Greetings. We're back. Tip of the hat to
Tip
you.
of the cap to you.
Salutations.
And I just, I do want to bring this back up. We brought it up yesterday. Yorn.
God.
Kick rocks, Bjorn.
You were trying to make amends with Yorn.
He has not gotten back to me.
Not gotten back to you at all.
As if I did something to Yorn. When Yorn's the one that broke into my house multiple times.
Broke in.
2
B&Es.
Yeah.
And he's out running the streets. And you've offered to forgive him.
I've offered to forgive him because of the
he's like,
holiday
no.
season. Nothing from Yorn.
Never forget.
It's unbelievable.
It's time for Wait, What?
Mine's Yorn.
Take it.
Daily. Spencer felt like he was there as part of a witness protection program.
Yeah, he did.
Was he like he
killed
had a
his
pretty
wife.
solid backstory.
Anybody that
Yeah.
just moves like as a single person to a small town where everyone else has known each other for
It's
years
so weird.
as like the new town mechanic, like that never ends well.
No,
right?
No,
Yeah.
it's a weird situation. Something's up there.
Yeah.
The mistletoe tiebreaker is the creepiest thing I've ever heard of. You can't.
No,
you, just
you can't just have people kissing randos to break a tie.
You can't.
Yeah,
Like,
that's tough.
that's bad stuff's gonna happen.
That's right.
The Elfcapades, I won't harp on it too much because it'll get its due here, but it's just like, how much could it possibly cost?
Yeah.
Almost everything is at somebody's house or a diner that somebody like. It's a
Yeah,
community thing.
We can do this now. They're pulling the big premise of this film is Christmas Eve fashion show and the Elfcapades that her father founded.
Yeah.
The funding is being pulled.
Sure.
Now, the Elfcapades include playing a game with your family at home, going to Dee Dee's Diner that's open anyway. Most
Bingo at a bar.
Yeah, bingo. Like most everything in the Elfcapades cost the town what I can only imagine is $0.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the town having put a lot of money into this. It makes no sense. And then what kind of monster, if the town gives it $100, would be like, we can't afford it. We can't afford that $100 that we give Dee Dee to give pie to everybody at the end of the night. Like it's absurd. It's an absurd part of this movie. That and everyone is like obsessed with Jonathan Keltz to the point they cannot just like control themselves. Those two things are very, very like glaring in this movie.
Yeah. And the last one was just when they were having that conversation about his wife, how she passed, and then her dad, the whole sob thing, like really emotional conversation. The whole time in the background, the song Up on a Rooftop was just blaring. And just it was
in the way.
Yeah, it was too much. It got to a point where I'm like, they're still playing this. Like the song just kept going and going. And it took me out of that moment big time. It was a choice for background music right there.
Yeah. I have a couple. This might be just me, but I do want to just do an exercise here. Dan, if I said to you good night, what would you say back to me?
Good night.
Okay. Can you say you too when someone says good night?
I think you can.
You can?
Yeah.
I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way. And I didn't like
I think
it.
that's a better use of the U2 phrase than like
Good night.
what Brian Regan talks about.
Sure.
Like when it's
Yeah.
like you're at the movie theater and he's like, enjoy the show.
Good
U2.
night.
Like that
Good
would
night,
not,
you
know.
too. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
I think U2 works for good night.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Throw it out. Get out of here.
Yeah, that one's gone.
You mentioned the mistletoe tiebreaker.
Sure.
And obviously not above board really in any situation, but I would say especially not above board when it involves the mayor.
Yeah.
You can't have the
No.
mayor up there just kissing people for tie breaking.
You can't do
You
it.
can't do
So
that.
many- so many
Can you
laws.
imagine Mayor Knox White just out there kissing congregants?
I wouldn't put it past him. Not our Knox. Just kidding. Mayor Knox White's wonderful.
He's a
everybody.
wonderful,
Yeah, that's
wonderful
right.
man. That's all I got, Dan.
This fiance or this ex, excuse me,
Ugh.
her ex, who's the mayor.
Mayor X.
He's up there for the tiebreaker, and she's like, "Who's that woman over there?" And he says, "That's my beautiful new fiance." Now, if you use that term, I can only assume that you kill fiancés. The only time you would use the phrase "That's my beautiful new fiance" is as if you've had a previous one that you've disposed of. You never say "That's my beautiful." There's no world where you should say "That's my beautiful new fiance."
Yeah.
Ever. Ever. That's a weird way to introduce someone. Even if you literally just got engaged, you say, "That's my fiance." You say anything else, it's like, "I've been down this road before, but now we got a new shinier model." It's not how that works. Please don't do it. Ever. The guy who runs the Christmas fashion show, Christmas Eve fashion show, which, let's be honest, a Christmas Eve fashion show, not a big deal even in New York City. He has 3 Christmas trees, a wreath, and a poinsettia in his office, just in his tiny area. 3 trees, wreath, poinsettia. It's a lot.
It's a warlock for you.
It's a warlock for you. That's exactly what it is. It's crazy.
They're trying to blend in.
Yeah, don't believe it.
This Jonathan Keltz has never seen a mechanic before. I
No.
like if you put air in your tires, you look more like a mechanic than Jonathan Keltz does. If you put air in your tires one time, you're going to end up with like a black smudge somewhere on your hand. You would look more. Jonathan Keltz rolled out of his trailer, threw on some coveralls. Never in his life has he seen a mechanic. They didn't give him anything to work with. And the one time he's supposed to be working on a car, they know this, so they put him in the dark.
Yeah.
He's working on a car in the dark. There's no lights anywhere around him.
You just guess.
And he's just got a socket wrench on the top of the.
What is that thing called? The hood strut?
Yeah, the hood strut. He's just got that out there.
We figured that out.
Yeah, none of that.
He doesn't know that's called the hood strut.
No, he does not.
There's
know that's
no
called
way
a hood
he
strut.
knows.
There's no way.
We know.
He just, there's nowhere where this guy's a mechanic in any way, shape, or form. And we know that because he's been doing it in the dark and his everything looks completely normal. We find out that Greg, is it Greg? No, Rick. Rick is her stepdad.
Oh yeah, it's a good
and
one.
Rick just casually throws off that Greg, her actual biological father, was a dear friend of his.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened here? What happened here? Is this a beautiful new fiance situation?
Beautiful new father.
Rick just swooped right on in there when his dear friend died. And his dear friend's now widowed wife was there, and he just swooped right in like it was NBD. Yeah. So there's that. That's all I got for now.
It's time for the Hallmark story. We wonder what could have been. Maybe I have some clarity. Questions that we still have. Brian, what are you still wondering about?
Yeah, there are a handful of things, but the one that is bugging me the most, if I could get an answer, it's at the very early on there at an event at Dee Dee's Diner, and they're drinking, they're filling up their mugs from like a dispenser, and it's a green liquid of sorts. And I don't know what it was. Like, it's it doesn't look like anything traditional. What is that green drink? That Grinch drink?
Yeah, with the marshmallow in there?
Yeah. What could that possibly be? Like, what is green that's a Christmas time drink? What's in that cup?
I don't know if you know this, Brian, but green is one of the colors of Christmas. If you look around here, you're going to see a lot of green.
What drink could that be?
They literally could make anything green and call it a Christmas drink.
It's a very unusual drink, like a look
Could
for
be
a
mint.
drink.
It could be a mint liqueur.
It could.
Yeah.
Green color
But
mint liqueur.
it could, but is it? I'd like to know.
What
if it's not?
This is
Is it? I don't know.
not a what the
You don't
Hallmark.
think that's a big deal? You're not curious
It's
about
not
the drink?
orange.
Hey, you never been to a Christmas party and there's been a green
All right,
drink?
I didn't want to have to do this, but I'll pull out my real one, and it's what's up with that insurance claim? I didn't want to go there, but we don't talk about the insurance claim
What insurance
on her
claim?
apartment, on her store. We don't get any follow-up. What is going on with this insurance claim?
He didn't want to do
I
this.
didn't want us to talk about it, but
that
I
green
got to bring it
drink,
up.
though, that's a good
I'm
one.
still
It's a good
wondering,
one.
but also, what's up with the insurance claim?
He pivoted to the green drink because he didn't think we'd make fun of it.
That's right.
But he thought for
Yeah,
sure.
And
green
he
drink
was
I
mistaken.
thought
That was
I
a
would
safe
get to it
bet.
before you guys did. Guess not.
So when she goes to like find Spencer, she's got the pajamas in her bag, and like what does he spill on the pajamas?
Coffee that she brought.
Would you not, before recreating the pajamas, would you not try to get that
Wash it
out?
out. I would 100%
like,
try to wash
you
it
can,
out. Yes.
like, there's like stain, like you can get that out, right?
stuff, yeah.
Right? Especially if you get right to it.
Some OxyClean?
OxyClean, something.
Promo code
like,
back. Won't work, but give it a shot.
give it a shot. I'm just like, you would at least try it, right? Before getting
Promo code
right
back?
to
Yes.
Yeah, you
Yeah, I
have
would
to. That would
try.
be the first thing. You're scrubbing, you're going nuts. I would do everything in my power to not
Have to
recreate the whole ensemble. That's all I'm saying. Dano,
Look, I don't know anything about fashion.
don't.
I wear a black shirt every day.
look great.
Thank you. How did they decide that these were the pajamas that were going to enter a fashion show? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like, were you guys down with those pajamas?
The biggest question, I was fine with the pajamas, but like
you keep saying it like there's an extra syllable in it.
pajamas.
Pajamas.
I would just my thing is what is everything else in the fashion show?
Yeah, that'd
like
be
if
good to
everything
know.
out, like I'm thinking Christmas party, like suits,
Yeah,
dresses,
dressed up, yeah.
etc.
But this is just like friends and family or family. What is it? Home
Yeah,
and family
I don't
line.
like what does that mean exactly?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like what are the other entries into this fashion show? I would have liked to have seen some other ones for sure.
Definitely.
Because if it's just like high class and then
they
like
walk out in
hello, Who wants cookies? Me. I'm wearing my pajamas. Boy, oh boy. Now, there were verbal fights in this movie.
Yeah.
And I felt like maybe,
Yeah.
did
There could have been some fisticuffs
there
here.
could have been, but I'm not
Sometimes
smart
we're not
enough to
great.
figure it out.
Yeah.
So we brought Victor Webster in to let us know with a quick breakdown that we like to call Fighting Chance with Vic Webster.
Fighting chance with Vic Webster. A fighting chance with Vic Webster. Was the fighting in the movie? Did someone get hurt? It's a fighting chance with Vic Webster. A fighting chance with Vic Webster. A fighting chance with Vic Webster. Vic Webster.
What's the opposite of action? Because that's what this movie had.
A fighting chance with Vic Webster. Vic Webster.
Nailed it, Vic.
Yeah.
Close.
Oh, I thought we were going to have it for sure there. What is that,
too.
6 in?
Five in.
5 in? I thought for sure by now we'd have a few scraps.
We'll
some
see.
scrums.
We'll see what happens. Long season ahead of us, Stan. Long season ahead of us. We're going back tomorrow with another one, Friday with another one, Saturday with another Lifetime
Hits just
preview
keep
show.
coming.
The week just keeps going. Until then, maybe the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.